This is your first English language feature. Why did you decide to make your switch from doing films in your native language? And what are the challenges and benefits toward working in America or in English?
Well, the topic demanded it. Well, we don't have that much serial killers back there in Europe, and also we don't have that much of this marriage consistency, kind of like a thing going on. So when I wanted to write about consultants or etc., it had to be as in English. So, and I lived here in New York for a year in 2002. This is where I learned filmmaking, also in New York City. So I'm such a fan and lover of New York City, and I wanted to give something back. This is the city that I proposed to my wife also. So I always had this idea in my mind to give something to New York City, and I hope I did it in a nice way, which I was so glad that it was screened at the Tribeca Film Festival, and it got the audience award for too from the New Yorkers. So I was so happy with the result.
Yeah, I thought like the you used the New York aesthetic so well. That was fantastic. But what I kind of want to talk about is how we start and we end the film in 40,000 BC. And there is where you get into this crazy, unique visual style. What was it like to shoot that stuff?
That came from necessity. Like we and Natalie Kingston, our lovely DP, I'm in love with her. We had like 3 hours to shoot all of that. So we had to forget about what we planned and come up with a new idea. And that the look like the cave look, cave drawing look, chalky look of the thing. That was behind the idea of that. Like Tolga, what if we do it like this? Because we have only 2 hours to shoot everything. So we were running around with the camera, shooting it like this, that, over there. So it's had to have that. I always wanted to have this comic book look. It totally served it. And the movie starts by not taking itself seriously. If I see a movie starting with 40,000 BC, I might think about something is coming up. But 40,000 BC, Slovenia, what are we talking about here? So that becomes the inside joke of the movie in the coming scenes also. But yeah, it was out of necessity.
It's absurd. It is, and it's very funny. And so I think it is so interesting. And you sort of got at this the way you blend like the dark comedy in the thrills. I'd like for you to talk a little bit. Why did you decide to go with like a sort of dark comedy, and how do you keep a balance between drama and comedy and thrills?
It is hard. It is hard when you, but because one step more, also there's like in this movie less, but in Butterflies there was more of this sentimental feeling. You also have to feel about with your characters, the loneliness of King, or the you should watch for those couple also in a way that you should love them as a couple too. So it is hard balance, but the only way that you can do is just think about the movie that you want to watch. Cole, like you're a film student, you told me, like whatever you want to watch is true, and believe me, someone else will want to watch that thing too. So never think about anyone else. Don't listen to them that much because dark comedy is the hardest form on the script page. If you hand it someone, all your characters look like 5-year-old kids are talking. Are they seriously talking like this about Slovenia 4000 BC? Like, or he knocks the other person out with his crutch? What does it supposed to mean? So, whatever makes you laugh, whatever makes you feel, no one else would be able to read it on the script except actors. Actors have this ability to picture it as much as, but producers don't. And you just go ahead and do it. Dark comedy is hard on the page.
So you talked about, I love that idea of like you're making movies for yourself, and I think
Only.
that sort of comes through. But you talked about the producers and Steve Buscemi, John Magaro, and Britt Lauer. They starred in the film, but they also helped produce it. What was it like working with them in like that type of dual role?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything for me. When you're a writer and director, you know your stuff. So your first thing is to pass it to the actors and the DP and everyone on the set. So that vision become their vision. And then you are not leading it, but like you are the first of the equals, let's say, as a director. So it never changes. So you're open to inputs if you know that the other person is in the same page with you and they are ethically in favor of the movie, not by about themselves egoistically or anything like that. First, you choose the right people to work with, and then you will create together. So doesn't differ to me if they're producers or anyone. Like also my producers, I had Sinan, Scott, Alihan mainly, and then Kanat, also the people. They were always giving me good inputs, but at the end, it's always a director, my choice what to do. So it's always good to keep that pipe open with people that you work with, even in the editing process. I always like sending it stuff so I get inputs. If it was not my fourth film, I wouldn't be able to do it this gracefully, most probably. I would be defending it more or like having my spines more. But it's easy with me because I know what I want so I can listen to other people's ideas.
You talk about how casting the right people was important. And obviously, you made a great choice because between the principal photography of this, which was in June of 2023, and now with its wide release, both John Magaro and Britt Lauer have found so much more success between Past Lives and the second season of Severance. So I wonder, like, these people were emerging talents sort of at the time. Why did you cast them? And what's it like for your cast members to become so much more popular after filming something with them?
Yeah, I'm also surprised that there are lots of different small roles that we like the Albanian, like the agent, there are so many talented, good New York artists, good actors that I love the city even more because of this right now. I am in love with New York, but like the casting, the auditions with Susan Shopmaker from our casting director, like I fell in love with lots of actors. For example, Lee, the Albanian guy. Like he should be in every movie. I love working with him. Like Ward, he should be in every movie. All these characters, Oli or like from the dinner scene, all those actors, they should be in lots of movies. With Britt and John, let me put it. I'm not going to talk about Steve Buscemi, of course. Like he's a legend. But like with Britt and John, I had seen Sevens and I was in love with Britt, but John was different. I was having his picture on my writing table while I was writing for King. I always taught him it was a picture from the first cow, which I love that movie. So uh, I always taught him as King too. So they will be emerging more and more because they are good actors.
I, I think it's just so interesting because your main character is a struggling writer and his companion is a retired serial killer. How did you approach this unique dynamic? And thematically, what are you hoping to explore with these two very different people?
I don't know what I'm trying to explore. And like it comes in, it takes me like 8 years to write a script. I take notes, but not like the engineering side, but taking notes side. I started taking notes like 8 years or 7 years ago with this. And it's a journey with you. Like you don't create for any purpose, but other than to just entertain yourself, just to you have journey with these guys for 8 years, 7 years. So you know them and you know yourself more. My own purpose is to make a movie that I want to watch. My own purpose is to try to understand more about myself so I can understand other people more. I am the best version of me while I'm writing. I never get angry at anything. I have this kind of like a strange Buddha smile on my face, my wife tells me, because I do understand everybody more while I'm writing in that process. Then you become a dictator again when you are directing, and you become a horrible person sometimes. But like while you're writing, I have this kind of like a angelic light around me. So the whole purpose is try to understand more about myself.
So you talked so much. You made this film for yourself. You knew what you wanted to do. For the last question, could you tell me, is there a scene in particular that resonates with you, or what is the part of the film that you are proudest of?
I think therapy scenes and the onion scene. I love therapy scenes, and I want to make it even longer. then I cut more, then I added more. So this is the version that you have. But those two scenes, especially the second one, I guess, the one that they talk about potatoes, and then also the onion scene. And it's always nice to see a llama in an Albanian bar also.